And look at that. They do have libations. Barkeep, how are you today, sir?
Very well, kind sir. How are you?
I am fine. Now, as I understand, George Washington had a lot... Well, look at this. What do we have here, sir?
Well, yes, George Washington has been here, and this was his favorite drink.
And
Cherry Bourbon Bounce.
it smells like freedom.
Yes, sir.
Freedom from tyranny.
Freedom from tomorrow's work. No.
Right, yeah. Freedom from getting not yelled at by the wife for drinking on a Monday
Yes,
morning.
exactly.
Is today Monday?
It can be.
Okay, what is today? Tuesday. See, there are too many cherry bounces.
You-
So there's a story behind this?
Yes, sir. So, April 7th, 1791, while George was president, my good friend George, he was coming across the ferry, and this was the ferryman's house. So his horses got spooked, pulled him and his carriage into the river. Washington's carriage into the river. Got him dried off and on dry land, and the ferryman brought him back here to dry off.
Wow.
And he sat right here in front of this fireplace that you're standing in front of.
Wow. Well, let me give him a nice scenic view of the fireplace.
Obviously, the fire is not to scale or to period, but this is the original fireplace.
Is there a can I say, is that a footstool?
It can be.
So, if I may?
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
So, as you're telling me, I am sitting in the very spot
Mm-hmm.
where George Washington
Correct.
would have dried his clothes off from this fire.
Correct.
Now, I understand there was a letter written that sort of spoke to this occasion?
Yes, George was very good at thanking his constituents and staff and anyone that helped him along the way. And so there's a letter in the National Archives or a museum that speaks to exactly that. He thanked the ferryman for his hospitality, thanked the ferryman's wife for her great libation, and this cherry bounce became his favorite spirit at the time. And he may have even taken inspiration or this recipe with him when he started his distillery up at Mount Vernon.
Now, was he kind enough to pay patents royalties to the fine...
I have no idea on that, but we just find it a very, very interesting story.
Because you know he was big into intellectual property too.
Mhm,
He was responsible for some of the patent approvals and all. That's how he developed the extra fine method for his mill, where he developed cake flour that was so fine because they cooled it between grinds.
Oh, okay.
And this came across his desk, and then he licensed it. Next thing you know, you talk about George Washington, the entrepreneur, and you mentioned that he opened up a distillery.
Correct.
He also was selling a very, very desired cake flour that
Nice.
shipped overseas.
Okay.
So I guess George Washington was smart enough to know where to get a libation.
Yes.
And we'll do some more on this. And can I ask what's in this? But you'd have to kill me.
No, not really. But bourbon, we actually are using this recipe for our bourbon cherries. We steep our cherries in bourbon and cherry juice, and use that for our old-fashioned cherries for other libations. I can't speak to the bourbon itself. I'm more of a purist. I drink bourbon straight versus with cherry juice. But this was George's favorite
This
drink, apparently.
almost tastes like a cherry Coke for adults.
Oh, that's darn scary then.
Well, thank you, my good
You
friend.
are very welcome, sir.
And allow me to get out my...
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot my wallet.
Another one gone.